We are now continuing on the same topic, which was controlling of fullness, and we are going on to doing pleats, tucks, uh, and a dark tuck. So we have two types of, actually three types of tucks that we are going to be doing, which would be the space tucks, pin tucks, and dart tucks. And also we'll do pleating. Pleating is the first one we are going to attempt. This one is actually the hardest one. So let us attempt that one first, and then we will go on to the other two. Now for pleating, like if you want to do a pleated skirt or anything else that you need pleats for, you have to keep in mind that you have to have at least 3 times the amount of fabric as the finished product that you want. So if, say, this is my waistband and I want to make a skirt for this waistband now. This waistband has a seam allowance on one side here, right? And on the other side, I have some excess which I'm going to use for my underlap, because when we make a skirt, we have to actually overlap or underlap the waistband so that you have something to put your button on and stuff like that. So the space that I need to have the skirt in is from like here, right? Leave out the seam allowance there because we have to stitch in the edge of the waistband, and then we need about 1.5 inches for the underlap or overlap of the waistband. So this is the space here from this finger to this finger here is what we need. So what I will need to do is have the piece of fabric that I'm making the skirt for this waistband 3 times this length from here to where I have the end of the underlap or the overlap. Okay, so this would be the piece of fabric that I would use. I already pleated it so that we wouldn't waste time with it. But you see the length of the fabric that I had. This is the waistband, this is the fabric. Okay, so it's 3 times the amount from here to about here. 3 times that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I did, I went ahead and did the pleats. Now for the pleats, what you need to do is to mark off your fabric. First of all, you're marking off your seam allowance. Always leave out the seam allowance because this would disappear. Remember, you'll be stitching that in and that will disappear. So you have to mark off the seam allowance. Then you start marking your pleats. Now I wanted 1-inch pleats, so I marked 1-inch intervals all the way along the whole piece of fabric until I reach the other side, where if you notice I have another seam allowance at this side. This is where you would join the fabric again. So all through I had those markings in place. Okay, I did it at the top and at the bottom. If you notice at the bottom here has the markings too. And then I went to the iron, folding off my material. Okay, so I started folding off my material like this and ironed it in place so that it will be much easier when I go to sew. Okay, so when I have this in place now, what I can do is pin it in place. Pin both the top and the bottom in place, and then go ahead to sew. You could baste it first and then go ahead and sew it. So we are going to be sewing this together now. Now I don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time standing here and pinning this, because what would happen is that it would take up too much time on my video. So what we're going to be doing here is stitching this here in place now. You would have had it pinned together. I just had it ironed off so I can stitch it. Now, one other thing, when you go to stitch the pleats, try to stitch in the direction the pleats are going. It will help you a bit for it not to fall apart. Okay, for the pleats not to fall apart or to push aside in any way. Hold on a second. Okay. I thought I did not have thread. Okay, it's gonna work. Okay, so here we go, and I will start stitching my pleats. Back stitch, and now you would have had it pinned in place or basted in place. As I said, I don't want to go to do that now because it will take too much time, and I didn't want to do it before because then you would not see the whole process. So right, and I can cut my thread, and now you see we have our little skirt. Okay, if I wanted to put it onto the waistband, this would have been my waistband, and I would start from one side. I'd start from the left hand side. Now remember, I left seam allowance on this. I left seam allowance on this, and I have my seam allowance on the skirt. You see, I have my pleat starting from here and not from the edge. Okay, it started from right here instead of the edge. So that's my seam allowance, and I would put my waistband just like this, and I can stitch and then stitch in the seam allowance. Okay, so if I wanted to put on my waistband, I would now stitch it in place just like this, then go right back over it. I will be showing you how to put on the waistband on a later date. All I'm showing you right now is how it would look if it had the waistband on it. Okay, so don't worry about the waistband right now. All we wanted to do is to learn how to make the pleats. I am putting this in so that we can have an idea of what it looks like at the end. So this is not what you are going to be doing. You're just going to be making up your pleats. Okay, and this is what it looks like. I stitched in the waistband, and if you notice, I stitched just a little way under the first stitch that I had with the pleats, so that now I have this pretty little waistband. I would have to complete it, but I'm not going to complete it as I said right now. I just wanted you to see what it looks like if it was a little pleated skirt. This is what it would look like at the end. Alright, the waistband is a whole process by itself to put in, so we will do that the next day. All I wanted to do is to show you what it would look like, and this is how simple making a pleated skirt would be, except for the process of joining it on from the sides and putting in the waistband and stuff like that. But to make up the pleats, this is what you do to make up the pleats.